Hi, I'm Matt Faulkner. I'm sitting here with Jeremy Swanson, and we're talking about some issues that come up in family law cases and the litigation that go with that. And one of the issues that has come up is where after separation that one of the spouses gets involved with another person or starts dating quickly afterwards, or if there's kids involved, whether they're moving in with another family that has children as well. So if you could just kind of explain what we're talking about.
Sure, Matt. One of the big areas of conflict is when somebody starts a new relationship. It's often a trigger point for litigation, for people going back on agreements, and just general unhappiness, particularly when one party has moved on faster than the other. So in general, judges are fairly reluctant to get involved with that because they're not going to tell somebody who to date or how fast to date or how quickly to get involved. It's considered basic privacy rights. But there are some cases where they will step in, and those cases often stem from cases where somebody is dating somebody with sketchy character. And by that I mean not somebody that you don't like or somebody that you think is a jerk.
Right.
I mean somebody with a criminal record. I've seen them with alcohol problems, with drug problems. I've even had people date someone who has a conviction for spousal abuse or even for willful cruelty to a child or neglect, and those things become a big issue.
So what the judge is looking for is, okay, where's the the legal complication that's going to be? They don't really care about the personality conflict nearly as much as the legal complications, correct?
That's correct. If you have a personality conflict, the judge can issue some protective orders, such as not having the new girlfriend or boyfriend at the exchange and have all contact going through only the parents rather than using third parties. But that's of limited effect. Where it gets even more complicated, though, is when the new girlfriend or boyfriend has their own family already, has children, and now you're blending families. That can get difficult in the sense that it's an even bigger change for the children, other than the breakup of their parents, to now be part of a family. So the rule of thumb that I tell my clients is to analyze the situation and determine whether this is something that you're upset about because of the fact that they've created an insta-family, essentially replacing you in the relationship, right, or whether it's something that's actually detrimental to the children. And sometimes the relationships are detrimental. There can be issues like where the children don't get along. I've seen situations where there are physical fights between children. They're in the same household. That can be a real issue. Another issue that comes up is there's often a lack of housing, a lack of rooms. So you end up with children that are unrelated staying in the same room, and that can be a real problem in terms of whether the living situation is appropriate.
Right, so that can become a stressful environment for the kids.
That's correct. And while that is generally not an issue which will end up in the suspension of parental rights forever, it can be for a temporary time. Judges often make rulings that have a if to it. When by that I mean the visitation goes back to normal schedule if the children have their own rooms, if they have their own bed, if they're only with a sibling as opposed to being with an unrelated child in the same room. Age comes into that as well. If you've got two 2-year-olds in the same room, that's different than if you have a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old and one's a boy, one's a girl. That's obviously going to be a much more concerning situation to the judge. So appropriate housing, appropriate places to sleep is very important.
Okay, any final thoughts?
It's really important to sort through your feelings on the issue and make sure that you're addressing it as an issue that really truly affects the children rather than something that affects you, and make sure that you've got good solid reasons before taking it to the judge. They take these things seriously and they take the well-being of children seriously, but if the judge determines that it's more about your feelings, they're unlikely to make a ruling about it. So think about that in advance, what your reasoning is behind your request.
Yeah, put the kids first.
Always.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for watching.